Welcome to the Bay Insider with Amanda and Ying, where we talk about history, lifestyle, and real estate in the San Francisco Bay Area. Hello, and welcome back to the Bay Insider. Today, we are going to share with you our Q3 2024 market update and kind of go through all the numbers for Q3 and then taking a big kind of macro look at the market in general year to date. And as per usual, Ying has put together some great slides for us with all the good data to go through. So I'm going to let her go ahead and kick it off.
All right, so we're going to start with transaction volume. We're going to look at Q3 compared to the previous Q3s, that's quarter three, from July 1st to end of September. Anyway, then we're going to look at the year-to-date transaction. After that, we're going to cover single-family homes, median price per square foot, and some other important indicators. And then we move on to condo market. Towards the end, we're going to talk about cash deals because everyone's interested in how many cash deals we have. Has that changed? Why do people have so much cash?
I'm not sure we have the answer to that.
We don't, but we know. We'll show you what we have. We know. And then we're going to cover another interesting topic, which is interest rate. So
on everyone's mind right now.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so here in front of you is a chart. That's the transaction volume for the third quarter of the year. Third quarter, as I said earlier, is July to September. So we cover 5-year trend. And you can see that the first bar is 2024. And then we have the 2023, 22, 21, 20 as a comparison. 2020 and 21 are anomalies. They are very high transaction volume. And let's consider that COVID effect because everyone was trying to move at that time. So you can see much larger numbers. We break down the total into two categories. One single family, the dark blue, and there's a lighter blue, that's a condo. So you can see the total. Now, in 2022, we're more back to normal. And then 2023, you can see drop quite a bit. And Amanda, you remember what happened last year, a year ago?
Yeah, the interest rates grew faster than they ever have in history, starting in, what was it, towards the end of the summer of last year?
Yeah, it was beginning of September. I think the first week of September. Yeah, I remember clearly.
And up. And, people kept waiting. Oh, it's going to calm down. And then they realized they kind of missed the boat on that one, on the 3% interest rates.
So this year, this quarter, we seem to be back more of a normal transaction volume for San Francisco.
It's kind of interesting to see how many more condos were sold in 2020 and 2021, relationally speaking.
There were a lot. I remember if you go back to watch our 10-year trend, we went through that. There were a lot of condo transactions, definitely.
Yeah.
So the next chart we're going to talk about is year to date. So that's the beginning of the year to end of September. It's pretty much the same story. We had a huge increase in 2021. And so here you see 2020 year to date is not that different. It was really 2021, you see the huge bump.
Yeah, and I think the reason, obviously, if we remember 2020,
right?
The lockdown started in March, and then it wasn't until really like September until like the housing market started loosening up and we could show properties.
Yeah, so I think by the time we get to Q4, when we have a full year number, you will see 2020 will jump up quite a bit because most transactions happened in Q3 and Q4. So that's what you're looking at. 2022 is still quite high, I would say, compared to our historical average. Last year, under 3,000, definitely much lower than average. Now we're back to, again, more of a normal pace because the full year, we're looking at somewhere like 4,400, which is, close to our normal transaction volume. And then after that, Amanda is going to talk about single family homes.
Right. So here we're looking at the median price from 2020 to 2024. And it's kind of interesting because you can kind of see if you look back to 2020, we're kind of back where we were in terms of the median price. But in the interim of that time, we really saw things go up pretty much faster than they have in a long time. And then, of course, going down when the interest rates went down in 2023. So from 2020 to 2021, you see that's an 11% increase that you have there. And then it kind of stayed high and then down, and now we're making our way back.
Yeah. And I think, at end of this year, maybe we will see another bump because of the interest rate effect.
And then we have the single family price per square foot comparison. And we see a similar trend here. I mean, this is kind of just proving out through all of the data. These price per square foot and total price, they tend to go hand in hand to some degree, but it is interesting to kind of see that. And now we're hovering around 1,000 a square foot.
Yeah. So 2022 definitely was a peak, no matter how you look at it.
Right. And these are, this is all of the data for all of single family homes in San Francisco. And certainly when you look district to district, there's a lot of variation.
Yeah.
In that.
At some point, we will cover that level of detail as well, but not today.
Okay. And so other important indicators for the single family homes, as you can see here, what we've got is the days on market and the overbid amount. And what's interesting is, really the days on market for San Francisco compared to pretty much anywhere else in the country is very low. I mean, we're talking about 2 weeks of marketing
at most,
getting into contract. Yeah. And now, we've got 14 year to date, but I think that, that's been less as of recent. And then the overbid is also a big story there, right? So 2020, it was around 8%. Then those 2 years that we saw where there was a lot of competition and a lot of transactions, it went up quite a bit to the 20 to 22% over asking. And in 2023, it was back down. I think part of that is that the strategy changed a little bit where people were not underpricing as much as they were previously. They were pricing closer to what they're getting. And now we're seeing our regular trend go back.
Yeah. And I kind of trying to explain this as how hot the market is, the overbid percentage. Mm-hmm. The 22% is definitely the hard market was really, really hot. Right now we're back to somewhat hot, right?
Yeah. 12% is still pretty high over asking.
Yeah, so it's pretty hot. But last year it wasn't nearly as hot. So that's how I look at it.
Right? Very true.
All right. So I'm gonna talk about condos a little bit. It's pretty much, the same story we covered in our 10-year trend. The condo market actually has been declining. So when you look at the median price in 2020, we're at 1.2. Now we're roughly at 1.1. But last couple of years, it has been quite flat. And unit price per square foot, it's same story. Used to be at 1,100, now it's at 996. Again, that really depends on the district because each district has a different price point and different trend of its own.
Yeah, and I think definitely the condo market, as you can see, has not recovered in the same way as the single family market.
Yeah, our condo market is still relatively soft. Although I think lately, especially last couple months, we hear a lot more condo transactions and the condo market is definitely picking up. So someone is looking for investment, this might be the time. Other important indicators, we can see the days on market is a lot longer than single family. Right now we're looking at 32 days. Last year was 33. Again, I expect this number to drop to a little bit lower soon. Overbid, this year's 1.7, last year flat. But in the peak of the market it was 4.6, which wasn't bad.
Yeah, and I think also looking at this, we have put together the condos and the TICs, but it is important to know that TICs definitely have a longer days on market than condos do in general.
Oh, absolutely. We grouped everything together. So when you break it down, they behave very differently. All right, cash deals. Amanda, go ahead.
Deals. So this is something, we talked about and think about, and, I've looked at it, when running different reports in different areas, but we wanted to get an idea overall throughout the city, year to year, what is going on? What's the picture of the cash deals? And so this is, citywide that we're looking at here, going back to 2016. And you can see, that there was in 2020, it went way down, and then it stayed low, and then it's creeping back up. And I think that there's few factors that are at play here, but definitely the fact that in 2020 and 2021, money was almost free. So, why would you pay cash? You can get money pretty much for free. So I think that makes total logical sense. And then you're going back up to the cash deals, and we've got 25% here. So that is, I think that we'll see that continue.
So it's 1 out of 4 deals is cash. So it's substantial. Because people often ask, well, do everyone buy in cash? Do everyone come from Asia? Everyone who buys use cash come from Asia or somewhere foreign countries? It's not true anymore. That's not what I see, at least. I think a lot of cash buyers are actually locals, people who have saved for many years. The
family money.
Yeah, family money, or they have stock money, Nvidia or something. So people have different ways of making a cash transaction, but not necessarily all from China, Hong Kong, or somewhere else.
Yeah, I would agree. And I do think, I said I see it continue, but I think actually we'll see it go down. And I think that's going to be, due to the interest rates lowering, because the lower the interest rates, the more interested people are in leveraging.
Yeah, absolutely. And then here is another interesting chart Amanda put together. We were curious, okay, by district, which district has more cash transactions? So this is just this year, 2024 year to date. The winner is District 1. which was that a surprise to you? Not
so District 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and we're going to do a segment where we go through what those districts are, because, that may be confusing to someone who doesn't understand.
District 7.
District 7, yeah, which is Pacific Heights, basically, right? I mean, that's.
I guess so. I'm sorry, I misread. Okay, so the winner is actually.
I'm trying to get my head out of the way so people can actually see the data.
Right. So
okay.
District 7, then District 1, and then District 5. So yeah, so
and this is total, including single family homes and condos.
Absolutely.
Which yeah, I noticed that there was a lot of District 8 condos that were cash deals when I was looking at them individually as property type, which is interesting.
That's interesting.
Downtown, basically,
right,
is what District 8 is.
Yeah, and then District 1, 2 obviously are very heavy on cash. That makes sense, consistent with the Asian population sort of, and tech.
So District 1 being the Richmond, kind of the northwest section of the town, north of Golden Gate Park, and District 2 being south of Golden Gate Park on the west, out to the ocean.
District 5, that's like Noe Valley, area. So that would make sense too. That's a lot of heavy tech concentration. District 9, District 8 actually. District 8 is quite high as well. And then District 9.
Yeah, and then District 8 and District 9, those are kind of downtown core, South Beach, kind of northeast portion of the city. And a lot of that is going to be condos.
Yeah.
a lot of the new construction condos.
That would actually make sense too,
Mhm.
right?
Absolutely.
So that's what we have, and just something interesting to look at. And then the last one, we have interest rate.
Which is on everyone's mind. And, the interest rates, it's interesting because a lot of people, I feel like, are kind of waiting on the sidelines because they're seeing that there are going to be these additional cuts, and they were hoping that interest rate cuts would be made after the 0.5 point cut that was recently made. But paradoxically, the mortgage rates actually went up when that happened. And I think it's important to understand that those the interest rates for mortgage are not directly related to the interest rate cuts that the Fed does. The Fed is doing short-term overnight lending rates, right?
Yeah.
And mortgage is a longer term. So when the mortgage banks are looking at it, they're looking at the future and what they're going to need to borrow money at. And when they see that they know that's going to end up going down, then it's built into the market for the mortgage market ahead of time. So that said, as you can see, recently we've seen as low as like 5.8%, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Under 6.
Yeah, depending if you have a relationship with a bank, potentially you can get a lower rate than that. But that's hugely different than what we saw
a year ago.
in 2023. We show 7.49%, but we know that the rates went up to as much as 8%.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of difference. And then we also wanted to share kind of just high level, looking at if you had $1 million loan on a property, what would your payment be? Now, this doesn't include, the tax or the insurance, but if you look at the numbers on the right-hand side here, I mean, this is a big difference in someone's monthly payment for mortgage, depending on what the rate is.
Yeah, I remember a year ago, someone's payment went up like 30% during the interest rate hike. It was quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a big difference. So if you're paying, say $4,000, and then it goes up to $6,000, $7,000, these are the types of things that can be problematic, especially for people who have adjustable rate mortgages during that time.
Oh,
Luckily, we weren't in a situation like we were back in 2009, 2008, when everything kind of fell apart and everybody had adjustable rate loans. I think people kind of learned their lesson.
Yeah. So that's what we have today. So our plans do this quarterly, this update quarterly. We want to provide you some new information every quarter. So next time we will see you in 3 months.
Yeah, and I think also, if you're listening to this, our contact information is everywhere. If there's something that trends in the market that you're interested in hearing more about and want us to incorporate, we're happy to kind of take in that advice and see if it makes sense and incorporate it if it does.
Absolutely. We can tell you each district, for example. So, small neighborhood.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to do that. So we look forward to giving you more information in the future, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye now.